doing push-ups. I've been doing sit-ups. I've been doing chin-ups. I've been doing pull-ups. I threw up once, but I'm okay now.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to a Wednesday edition of your Sports Network's very own Power Hour, brought to you by our friends at Toyota of Warren. Let me get that up there. Make sure bills get paid, Scotty. DJ Yoakley, Scotty Mincher with you. Scotty joins us every Wednesday from his humble abode up there in the 330. Scotty, what's new with you today, my friend?
Not a whole lot. I saw Jimmy today for the first time in a while. We were able to hang out. He got me some stuff for the house and helped get me ready. I haven't gotten to see him really in the last 3 weeks, so it was good to see him. And just happy to be on with you today, man. It's another beautiful day. I mean, at least temperature-wise, anyway.
She's a beaut, Clark. Yeah, it's. I just came in from a couple meetings. Had one with the Scrappers, which we all know and love. Great meeting with them. Some announcements that will come out in the next week or so. But Scotty, yeah, it's a beautiful day outside. It was winds are a little high, and that's to be expected of anybody who's been watching or tuning into Storm Tracker 21. You can download their app for free. Don't forget, head over to your favorite app store or the Google Play Store and download the Storm Tracker 21 app right now for free and know exactly what's going on in your neck of the woods. I always wanted to say that. Whether you got to prepare for Northeast Ohio weather, you're either snowing, you're raining, the sun is shining, or the wind is a billion miles an hour. And today it's the latter, my friend. So you're safe and sound in that house of bricks that you've got behind you.
Yeah. No big bad wolf can come and huff and puff it down. So I'm safe. I'm cool.
Well, my friend, it is a Wednesday, and the countdown has begun for me as this time Friday, you'll be hearing the whoosh, whoosh of the beaches of Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, and taking the family down there. We're following all these teams. Ty Bartell's going to join me down there. Chris Colucci will be joining me down there as well, and we will have a great deal of games for you. But Scotty, what are we talking about today? What is on Scotty Mincher's mind as of today, the 5th of April, 2023?
Well, one thing I wanted to get your thoughts on, DJ. I was very curious in the moments leading up on to the show today. A few weeks ago, we had on, it was Gary Altizer for the last time during the wrestling season. Me and Anthony had him on, but we got on the subject of volleyball and kind of the newness and the uniqueness of, boys volleyball. And it's something I wanted to know from you, from your perspective, like how big a fan are you of it? How much do you know about it? And do you think the boys could quickly, become, as good as the girls, or do you think it might take quite some time to evolve. Uh, at least at the start, and there might be some sloppiness in play and things like that. That was just something I wanted your thoughts on to start today.
Yeah, so boys volleyball is the topic of conversation. Is it going to be a smash hit right away? Maybe not. But from my perspective, listen, man, I love the sport of volleyball. I absolutely love it. I think I love everything about it. I think that you have to build a solid team, and I'm a big team sport guy. You can't just have one player out there that's winning you games or winning you matches. And volleyball is to me one of the premier sports in the team arena because you have to, I mean, you can't hit the ball twice, right, by the same person. And that means that you've got to cover weaknesses. You have to be able to cover strengths as well. So do I think that boys volleyball is going to be popular? I think eventually it will be. But again, we're living in a world, Scotty, and I think most people maybe either don't understand it or are going to kind of look past this. It's There's only a limited number of students to play these sports, and a lot of schools are saying you either have to declare yourself this sport or this sport. You can't necessarily treat them equally, and which I think is fair. But at the same time, how do you do that? How do you do that? If you're really good, if you're a great athlete, especially at some of these small schools, how do you say you're going to put this sport above another sport? And a lot of it's based on not the player's abilities or the student athlete's abilities, but it's based on essentially what's more popular and who's playing the sport and who you want to be around, and maybe what that team's record is. So I think it's going to be interesting. The time of year that they put this in, will they shift it? Will it be a winter sport? Will it be a spring sport? Will it be a fall sport? They've got to find the right thing because you're going to have to take players from one of those sports, those major sports in football and basketball and baseball, and maneuver those kids to the volleyball court. So how do you do that successfully? Do that without absolutely rupturing another program that your school has had, and traditionally, it doesn't go very well for some schools.
Yeah, and I think you bring up a good point. Almost saying like it's kind of in a way a popularity contest. Like what sport is more popular at the school, and are they willing? Are they? Are schools gonna be willing to take somebody from the basketball court, the hardwood, or the football field, and you know turn them into a volleyball player?
Well, it's a spring sport, right? So Sam's question here is: Do you think the season they chose, which is the spring, is the right one? So there's multiple answers that you can look at from a revenue generation. Yes, it is, because you're basically covering your what, because essentially baseball and softball do not bring any revenue for the most part. In most cases, they don't bring any revenue. So to put guys volleyball in the spring guarantees you a little bit of revenue because you have to play it indoors. So the problem's going to be some of these baseball programs are going to fall, and they're going to fall quickly because we all know that it's about the almighty dollar. It's about the dollar, and the schools are going to see, hey, this volleyball program is being funded by itself, and we have to go out and take money out of the football fund or basketball fund in order to fund our baseball and softball teams. So, but you're also not getting rainouts. You can't get rainouts in a gym typically. So in that case, they did choose the right season. It's It's a season full of, we've seen rainouts, we've seen snowouts, all that stuff in the early goings of spring. Scotty, I think they chose the right one. Unfortunately, that's going to be bad news for baseball teams and some track teams in the area.
Yeah, it definitely will be. But you seem optimistic that at least from the boys' side of things, you do think that um, maybe it might take some time, but you seem pretty optimistic that they could at least get on par, maybe not more popular, but as popular as the girls.
That, I don't know. It's going to take a while because you look at how much the game of volleyball has grown here in the area in the last few years, just because there's more interest. There's JO. You can play it year round if you really want to. The guys have to start from the very bottom and learn the basics, learn the, how to play it. They've got to learn the rules. There's a I guess kind of a marketing aspect that has to be around it. I think that volleyball in itself is a high action, high intensity sport that can create a great opportunity for boys. You've seen it in men's volleyball and then the NCAA ranks. I'm interested. Listen, I'm tuning in. I want to watch it, and I definitely want to cover it. But I think you're going to have a hard time with schools buying in, specifically in this area, because we have such good baseball products on the field. Where are you going to get these kids from? These kids are already stretched very thin. You ask any one of their parents, you ask any one of their coaches, these kids are stretched to the max, and adding another sport on top of this that you expect them to embrace is going to be a tough sell.
Yeah, and I mean, a lot of, like you said, everybody, like, ultimately it does come down to the almighty dollar. But not only is more of their time taken up, occupied, there's only so many hours in a day, but to me that would increase, obviously, they say today's athletes bigger, faster, stronger, DJ, but you have to think on one hand too, on the other hand, that it would increase the chances of like injury and things like that. So
Well, we've seen a study, and we've seen just the optics of it is kids are wanting to be engaged, and they want to be part of something. And it's whether it's, esports that have come and really rattled sports as we know it, or wrestling has come on very strong. It's been a strong part here locally because in Ohio, naturally, but you've seen programs pop up that, originally weren't there 10, 15 years ago. I think volleyball is going to be in the same light. And I think that, with a lot of this rides on the kind of precipice that Major League Baseball isn't that good at marketing, and they're not pushing a lot of kids to play baseball outside of what they already have in the hopper. So if men's volleyball gets popular, and I'm sure in the Olympics it is, baseball could be in trouble in this area, because even though our teams are very good, the attention spans are very short. So if your team's you got a team that's won the state championship and or perennial powerhouses, those teams might stay, but you might find some of these teams that aren't winning games very often or at all might start saying, hey, why don't we try to put together a team, because we don't need 9 guys to go out and play volleyball. You're looking at 6, I think, on the court at a time. So you could essentially field a varsity and junior varsity team in volleyball, when in baseball you can only field a team with 3 pitchers or 3 guys on your bench. So it's a numbers game that I think everybody's going to have to play. And fortunately or unfortunately, you're looking at this for flag football, right? So or 8-man or 7-man, whatever it is, not everybody's going to have it, so you're going to have to travel. So that money that you're bringing in is probably going to be used at least for the first 4 or 5 seasons on just traveling and putting buses from here to there. So a lot of things to think about, but that's the business of sports.
Yeah, I think also when you really think about it, if there's schools and you know, like you said, the powers probably always gonna be there. The teams that are, have been successful every year, year in, year out, if not perennial powers, perennial contenders, winning games. But then the teams that have struggled on the diamond, I think some of those schools, they might think like, hey, you know, interest in baseball, the attention span is shorter. It's lacking a bit. So let's give this volleyball a shot. So it's a lot of, like you said, there's a lot that goes into it. It's very layered, but I thought that was a interesting way to. I think it's pretty juicy stuff. I thought it was a thought provoking way to start the show today, and good take as always, DJ.
I appreciate it, buddy. What else is on the agenda for today? Are you interested in boys volleyball? Are you got a guy that's going to get out there and watch? I mean, you see some of these girls jumping around. You can only imagine the athleticism they bring to the table, what the boys would be able to do, especially if they're hoopers. You know, guys that are basketball players should make the transition a little bit easier than those that are not. Correct?
Yeah, you would think so. You really would. No, I'm not gonna say I'm you know a superstar, but I have played some family backyard, pool volleyball. I don't have the greatest spike, DJ, but I give it all my might every time. So I'm definitely one that's gonna be watching uh, in a sport where so much, and rightfully so, we have so many talented teams, talented girls in the area. But with boys sports, I think, and with this being new, they might not look as smooth at times, but I think as we go on here, you're gonna see them be able to do some really freaky things athletically, like make some big time plays that are really really eye popping. And like you said, the way they can jump and just get after it even from playing hoops. So it's gonna be really, it should be really riveting, at least as time goes on here.
Yeah, I'm really part of me is really excited. Part of me is a little bit nervous. You know, it's one of those scenarios, Scotty, where time's gonna tell, right? Time is gonna be it's always the proof in the pudding. So it's gonna be interesting to see how this all transpires. What else is on the agenda for today, my friend?
I wanted to get your thoughts on a couple different things. First, I guess we'll start smaller. I do want to get your thoughts. The Masters starts tomorrow, so I wanted to get your thoughts on that. But first, before we do that, I wanted to get your thoughts on some results on the diamond. And I've been following online on our website and checking out the scores and things like that. And so far, West Branch baseball, undefeated. They really impressed me. Another big win last night over Minerva. And then on the softball side of things, you had Howland, who really hammered. They really hammered Warren Harding last night. So those are two teams. West Branch, when it comes to the boys in baseball, they've really, I think, been impressive. And Howland, for me, when it comes to softball. But I want to know from you early on in the spring season here, what teams do you think are the cream of the crop when it comes to boys baseball and then girls softball? Which ones have really impressed you?
So we'll start with softball. Softball, I mean, South Range has just continued to impress me. I mean, they've got depth upon depth upon depth, and that can be a scary combination. You know what I mean? When you've got a lot of depth at positions that a lot of teams are trying to scrape together, there's not a whole lot of weaknesses in the Lady Raiders lineup, and that's exciting. That's an exciting time. Also, in the same conference, I'm going to tell you, Poland is for real too, and it's going to be interesting to see when those two teams square up. Who comes to the table, who brings it. Is one team going to sweep, or are they going to split? What is that going to look like? So I like South Range. I like Poland. There's a lot of talented teams out there. I think the problem is the inconsistency of the season. A lot of these teams can get reps only when they're on the field, and there's quality reps, and then there's poor reps. Poor reps are those that I say you're in the gym and you're just fielding practice and, taking hacks in the cage. No matter what that cage looks like, they're not real reps that you have people in positions. I mean, there's a term, Scotty, in baseball that's called cage bombs, right? You know what a cage bomb is?
Is it like a batting practice?
Batting practice home run. Yeah. So you're in there and you hit one that feels good, that looks good, the trajectory of it. The problem is everybody hits these cage bombs, but when they get out in the field, there's no batting practice home runs, right? They're flyouts, they're things of that nature. So all of these cage bombs that people are hitting aren't really doing them much in the way of good, because a lot of times they're not real home runs. They're just kind of in your head, fugazis, whatever it is, right? So it's doesn't exist. When you get out on that field and you're getting some real reps, that's when you're getting to the benefits of what a team can be and getting better. With the inconsistencies in the weather, some of these teams are at just the mercy of, are they playing that day or not? Because likelihood of them actually getting out on their field, if they're rained out, is very little, right? Because it doesn't make sense. If you can go practice, you should be able to play. So that's one of the things that I've seen that a lot of these teams are battling right now. I do like South Range. I do like Poland. I've seen a lot of push and a lot of advancement from teams like Salem. I'm looking forward to seeing them. I'm looking forward to seeing West Branch. Looking forward to seeing some of these other teams at EOAC. I think East Palestine has made huge strides under Clarence Andre and Jen Andre. I'm so proud of what they've been able to do, especially through all the things that they're going through right now. Teams that you might not look to right now that are still powerhouses. Columbiana, they've lost a lot, and yet they still are able to roll out and get 22-0 wins or whatever it is. So be on the lookout for them. Baseball wise, there's one team that really has caught my eye that I really think is really good. And I know I talked to our general manager, our fearless general manager, Steve Leslie, about this. Warren JFK, to me, is the real deal. When you look at them, the teams that they're facing, the teams that they're not afraid to play bigger teams. They're not afraid to play really anybody. And they just continue to come out on the right side of the scoreboard night after night. So a team that never gets any love, it's seemingly in any sport that they play in or participate in. I don't know if that's just because of who they are, or there's people that just will not back any team that's a Catholic school team. Warren JFK to me is if when we do the power rankings, if I were to vote, Warren JFK would be the number one on my list.
And they seem to just every year, and even this year in football, though they ultimately came up short, I thought they weren't given. They were given a lot more criticism than they were credit by a lot of people. Um, and I thought even though they came up short of the ultimate goal, it was a great season, and they seem to, just I don't know what it is, DJ. Like it's like you said, there's this kind of like stigma around them for whatever reason, but they seem like they're really, really strong. You said they're at the top, the cream of the crop for you. Um, I wanted to know.
Well, let me rephrase something too, because I forgot two teams that are red hot. And thanks for the assist here, Sam. Fitch softball is as hot as they get, and I apologize for not thinking of them first. But my goodness, how good are they? Sydney Watt's only a sophomore. You've got Ayla Ray. You've got Hogan's in there. I mean, you across the board, this team can compete with anybody, and they're going to have to. So I think maybe the expectation of they've kind of moved to the back of my mind, because the expectation is state championship or bust for them. When some of these other teams, you look at that and you go, okay, they lost a lot. Can they replace it? Fitch lost a lot last year, and they are replacing it as well. So kudos, Sam, for picking me up on that. And Pulling baseball also off to a hot start. Can't give them any more clout than what they're doing. And I think they're going to contend for the NEA title this year, something that South Range has had a strangle on. But I still think South Range will compete. I think Lakeview is going to be in there. They've got a great team. It's going to be interesting, Scotty, across the board. This is going to be probably one of the most competitive years we've ever seen on YSN for spring sports.
I think so too. And he mentioned West Branch. I was talking about them earlier, but I think like Sydney Watt, like it's interesting, DJ, because Anthony pointed this out when we were doing running point today. Like I really don't think about it because I'm not like he's like the one, not just the women's sports, but definitely softball. He's like the ultimate like guru. He's more knowledgeable than anybody I know. But I have watched enough softball, to know that the delivery, like when they're out there and you watch the pitchers and the delivery, it's coming in really fast. And he said Sydney Watt, she's been able to throw up to near, close to 70 miles an hour. And like people think, compared to, maybe like Major League Baseball, that it's not that fast. But really for softball, with the fast windup and how quick they get it out of there, it is. I didn't think of it this way, but it is really like the equivalent. If you're throwing 68, 70, that's like the equivalent of throwing like 95 or something like that in the major leagues.
Yeah, it's almost untouchable. Now I have video here, and Sam Suzanne of South Range, right? This happened after the game last night. Everybody knows how good Sam Suzanne is. Probably an all-state pitcher, if not definitely an all-state pitcher. What I will tell you is there was a challenge of Sam Suzanne after the game from Drew Starkey, if you know him, he's been on YSN before as well. He's a young man, not even in high school yet. I'm pretty sure he's just 12 years old. So he was hitting Little League home runs last year that still haven't landed. After the game last night, South Range wins 21-0 over Niles. Drew told Sam that he could hit her and hit off of her. For those of you that aren't in the baseball lingo or softball lingo. So they lined it up. Sam went out there after a game. We got a catcher in there, and Drew was in there, and the first pitch, Drew, who I thought for sure was going to strike out, spanks one with authority out to right center field and walked it off. My guy at the ripe old age of 12 years old or whatever he is was able to hit off a premier pitcher in the YSN universe, and he will not let you live it down. There's just no way. So I loved seeing it last night. Thought it was really cool because you see all these videos of Jenny Finch and striking out all these dudes like Ken Griffey Jr., Rafael Palmeiro, Mark McGuire, all that. And then you see this young man with just full of swagger walk up and gets a hit. Now, I think that Suzanne's probably going to line it up again and see if she can, because the first thing he said was no changeups as soon as he stepped in the box. So you knew that that was on the menu. But it was cool seeing that because you always see that the baseball guy ends up looking like a doofus. And there was no doofuses there last night as Drew Starkey able to get a knock.
Yeah, that's really cool, and I do remember those videos of. I do remember Jenny Finch quite well, and those videos with like Griffey and McGuire and all those guys. But yeah, that's to be 12 and be able to do that, man. You gotta have some big time talent, man.
Yeah, it was impressive to say the least.
Yeah.
Hey, let's take a break and then we'll go on some other topics here, Scotty. We'll get some cancellations too with baseball and softball. Take a break. Brought to you by our friends, as always, at Toyota of Warren, who take care of us each and every day in each and every way.
We believe expectations are made to be exceeded. At the new Toyota of Warren, it's about more than just getting a great deal. It's about service you can count on and a friendship you can trust. Year after year, we've done what we do best. We've gone the extra mile so you could too. Because we know it's just not about buying a new car. It's the start of a new adventure. Toyota of Warren, driven by you.
Locally owned and operated, Sheely's relaxed shopping experience means browsing and lounging is always encouraged.
Find Flex Deal and more at Sheely's Furniture and Appliance, because the best things in life happen at home.
How lucky are we to have not one, but two 18-hole Donald Ross Championship golf courses right here in our backyards. Mill Creek Golf Course was selected by Golf Week as one of America's 30 best municipal courses, continuing to challenge golfers of all levels and featuring golf instruction by PGA professionals, a state-of-the-art practice range, a PGA of America recognized pro shop, kids programs, and a relaxing grill room for a memorable golf experience. For more information or to schedule a tee time, visit millcreekmetroparks.org.
Fall is in the air. The kids are back to school, crowds are cheering for the home team, and Myers Family Insurance is prepped for another crazy Medicare season. Every year there's changes, some big, some small, so it's important to have a conversation to make sure your plan is going to meet your expectations for the coming year. Give our team a call today to schedule your annual review.
For all your Medicare needs, call Myers Family Insurance or visit us on the web. Check us out online at MyersFamilyINS.com.
Going from mindful to mindful sometimes requires a helping, healing hand. Insight Clinical Counseling and Wellness offers a continuum of mental health and wellness care. At Insight, we're changing the way you receive counseling and wellness services with experienced licensed clinicians and expertly trained wellness staff. With 4 locations in Mahoning and Columbiana County, along with telehealth services, Insight offers clients quick access to care when they need it. Transform your mental health and wellness at Insight Clinical Counseling and Wellness.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Ysn Power Hour, powered by Toyota of Warren. DJ Yoakley, Scotty Mincher with you today on this Wednesday edition. Scooter, we've talked about some things already. We talked about boys volleyball. We've talked about baseball and softball in this area. What else do you have for me, my friend? I'm standing in the box and I'm ready to hit it over the fence.
You're ready to hit it like I see your boy Brian Reynolds. I've been looking at the box scores. He's been tearing it up the last few nights.
Yes, he has. Big Bop and Brian Reynolds is on my fantasy team. Thank you very much.
There you go. Yeah, Pirates, who knows, DJ? They
Don't get
might.
my hopes up. Don't do it.
I won't. I know it's ridiculously early, but maybe, just maybe, there's something there. But anyway, we'll have plenty of time to talk more Major League Baseball as the season goes on. You have a lot going on. You have the NHL playoffs, the NBA playoffs coming up. You got the draft coming up. But I wanted to talk. Tomorrow is the start of the Masters once again out at Augusta. And I wanted to get your thoughts. I told Anthony that I've always been I've always been a VJ Singh guy because my love for I love the Yo more than anything, the Y Youngstown, but I also love the city of Cleveland, and VJ always has his Cleveland golf hat on. So I'm partial to VJ, but also it's hard to not like anyone else that's named Scotty. And Scotty Scheffler won it last year. He's the defending champion. I wanted to know, DJ, what's your interest level in the Masters this year? Me and Anthony, back a while ago, we would have Brian Tonar, and he would teach me a lot. But I just wanted to know, do you have a favorite? Are you really stoked for the Masters this year, or are you just gonna kind of watch, check it out here and there, like be an occasional flicker to the Masters? And do you think Scotty Scheffler or will repeat, or will we see somebody else take home the green jacket?
Now, if I'm not mistaken, Scotty Scheffler is the odds-on favorite this year. So, yeah, I'd probably take him. But, Scotty, I think you know me a little better than this. So, I'm not going to say it. I'm just going to go find my guy who I think I want to win. I know you can't see that.
I know who it is, though.
That is Tiger freaking Woods. And listen, I've always been a fanboy for Tiger. He's not going to date my sister, but he is my favorite golfer of all time. And I hope Tiger gets it, man. How good would that be to see Tiger wear that green jacket again one more time, right off into the sunset? Because There we go. Sorry about that. Whenever he gets on the senior PGA Tour, he's going to light it up again. It's going to be fun to watch. So I'm excited for that.
Yeah, I didn't know what happened there, if that was your end or my
It's
end.
my end. I keep getting kicked off. You were talking the one time I got kicked off, so we'll probably have to wrap it up a little bit early. I think the computer's going haywire. So
Okay. I just wanted to say, you mentioned Tiger, and the thing is I watched, like we talked about this before. As much as I love somebody like LeBron, um, in the NBA, I watched someone before him, and his name was Michael Jordan. And I would watch the NBA as a fan, even, before LeBron. I would watch certain teams and follow players. I was a big time Larry Johnson fan. I loved the grandma commercials. But golf is one of those sports. I told you this before, DJ. I would turn it on just to see Tiger.
Mhm.
And he still to this day, he's the only player, in my opinion, that has had that type of effect on a sport. On me anyway. He's the only player to have that big of an influence. So I'm right there with you. I think there was only like one guy I saw on ESPN pick Tiger. But do you think like golf is hurting it all, as far as like I've heard like, people say in the past about like when Rory McIlroy was first coming up and Jordan Spieth, that they were going to be the next big great things, and they just quite haven't. Like, they have all the potential in the world, but I don't know if they necessarily realized it. Do you think we'll see a golfer again? I'm not going to say make a big a splash as Tiger, because there's only one Tiger Woods, but do you think there's somebody that could get close to Tiger's, level?
Oh yeah, yeah. I think at some point, the funny thing is, I think it's going to be his son. I think it's going to be Charlie, and I think the narrative's already been written for Charlie. If this is what he wants to do, I think he's the guy that's going to break all the records. I mean, he's a stud. I think that he's going to go a long way. I think that the new generation of golf is coming. There's a new wave of golfers that are very young right now, probably not even in middle school, that when I'm an old man and in my 50s or whatever it might be, there's going to be a great group of golfers that's going nuts. And one of the reasons, Brian Tolnar is a guy that's been very influential, both, professionally and personally to me, because, I'm not trying to push my kids in any certain direction. In sports, Z had T-ball practice last night and was killing baseballs. But golf is a game of life. And, Chris Sigler often states that it's a game that, no matter where you're at in your life, it can be useful. It can be useful in business. It can be useful in friendships. It can be useful in just getting away for a couple hours, clearing your mind. Yes, golf is a very frustrating game, but if you're able to master it at an early age, it's not something that you're going to forget. It's like riding a bike. So and I think COVID was a huge spike for golf as well, if I'm not mistaken, because it was one of the few things you could actually do. So I'm really excited for the game of golf. I think the game of golf it's come a long way, and it's got further to go, and they've got the right people in places, and they've got the right marketing around it. And, to make it a little bit more fun, you're seeing some of these different, I don't even know what you call them, pro-ams starting to come together, which to me is great. I love seeing that. The golf is fun. It's not always exciting, but it's the 18th hole that you've had 17 bad holes and you hit that perfect ball down the fairway and you get a par, and it brings you back the next day because it sucks you back in. It's like sports betting, right? You can stink for 7 out of 8 bets, but that 8th bet, you nail it and you feel good about your what you have going for you. Your everything, all your powers, right? You got some superpowers that you can predict the future. So it's golf to me is an up and coming game. And I know that's really weird to say because it's an older game. But I think golf is going to have a huge spike here in the next 10, 15 years.
What was your best score ever? Do you remember off the top of your head?
I couldn't tell you. It's not good. I know that. I cannot tell you how excited I am though to take my clubs to Myrtle Beach because I know we're golfing Saturday and Sunday and probably somewhere in the middle of the week next week. But to just get out there, because I have learned so much from Brian Tolnar and his segments here on YSN that'll start back up right after we get back from Myrtle Beach. And I was on that simulator, Scotty, for March Madness when we had our little party, and your boy was driving it pretty well. I'm excited to see what I can do with the tools in my bag.
Driving it like Happy Gilmore.
Somebody learned how to putt. Sam
Yeah,
says golf is fun until after the first swing.
I just something about the atmosphere too, the vibe. Like obviously, being in
Scotty,
a wheelchair.
will you be my caddy at one of our golf things?
I will be. I'd love to be your caddy. That's just where I was going, DJ. Like, I just love, like, especially on a sunny day. There's nothing better. We ran the promo for Mill Creek Park, and I think it's one of the nicest spots in the area. Tremendous golf course. Mill Creek Park is, absolutely beautiful. I don't think the people I'm around, my circle, I don't think people talk about it enough. But I would love to be your caddy and get involved somehow because when the sun is shining, there's something just relaxing about it. Even though I'm not hitting the ball off the tee, man, I just get excited watching others, mostly fail at the game because you fail a lot more than you succeed. It's kind of like, baseball.
All that I'm asking as you as my caddy is that you do a beer every hole.
Every hole. So how many is it? That's
18 beers.
18 holes. That 18 beers. Oh man, DJ. that might unleash a beast inside of me.
Listen, you've done it here before. Don't you're not fooling me there, young man. You've done it right here in this studio before.
I will say for as much as you think I loathe Pittsburgh and knock the city of Pittsburgh and the sports fans, I gotta say that icy light goes down really smooth.
I might have one for you tonight, man. I'm excited to go back. My game got canceled, which we'll give you the updated list on the cancellation of games here in a minute. But Scotty, it'd be my honor if you were my caddy at some point or multiple points this summer. I'd love to go put you in the golf cart and just sit and BS with you and play some golf. So maybe we'll get a foursome together or a fivesome or whatever you want to do. And we can get you in my cart and we can roll around. I'm sure Brian wouldn't have a problem with that.
Yeah, I know Jimmy's put me in our like the Golden String golf outings in the past. Jimmy's been able to lift me, get me into a cart, and it's a blast. So yeah,
when is the Golden String outing, by the way?
It is. It's always in June. I wanna say I'll give you an exact date. It's always around I want to say June 10th, but I don't know if that's 100% correct. But I'll give you an exact date.
Well, do me a favor and get us a foursome in it. and you can ride around with me that day.
Okay.
If that's what you want to do, I'd love for you and support Golden String along the way. That's something I would love to do. But having you in the golf cart, maybe we'll get you to swing a couple.
Okay, cool. I'll get a team of, like you said.
Just tell Jimmy we're in. Yeah, just tell Jimmy we're in. We'll get the golfers there. I'll make sure that the bill gets paid. But yeah, there's nothing more than I'd love to do than get things and have you be a part of it and support a good cause.
All right. If I don't see Jimmy this week, I should see him.
I'll text him
at the very least in a couple weeks. So I'll let him know that we're in.
I'll text him right after the show and let him know I want a team and I want you to ride in my cart. So I'm sure he'd be happy to have that. So, all right, Scotty, I need to get to some games here that have been canceled. Hang tight while I pull this up. Cause it is, I don't know if it's already raining some of these places or what's going on. But we're getting all kinds of cancellations rolling in here on YSN. So we want to make sure everybody's up to date. All right. So that is April 5th. That's today. So Chalker versus Wyndham has been canceled. Waterloo at Garrettsville Garfield has been canceled. Then there is a slew of girls matches or games that have been canceled as well. Archbishop at Hoban. Archbishop Hoban at Ursuline, Chalker at Wyndham, Lisbon at East Palestine, Maslin Perry at Fitch, South Range at Lakeview, Streetsboro at Garfield, Warren G. Harding at Cardinal Mooney at Field of Dreams, Warren JFK at Newton Falls, and Western Reserve at Mineral Ridge all have been canceled. That leaves us just a few tonight on the network. Walsh Jesuit at Canfield. Noah Doty going to be at that game. That is still on. Actually, there's quite a few. Cooper Schiavone, is going to do South Range at Lakeview. Derek Rhodes will have the call. The captain will have Mineral Ridge at Salem. Latonia at Columbiana. Joe Eusebio is going to have that one. And Cardinal Mooney at Ursuline. The Holy War, Alec Caberna, all over that one. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 games here on the network tonight. You can catch them all. ysnlive.com/live. All right, Scotty, you ready for the full Monty here with the Joe Dickey Electric? What's your spark? You ready?
I'm always ready, man. Born ready.
Here we go. It's the Joe Dickey Electric. What's your spark? Presented by Joe Dickey Electric. Anything commercial, residential, anything electrical, head on over to DickeyElectric.com. Scooter, you're up.
Well, my spark today, I kind of gave it away, alluded to this at the top of the show, but people that genuinely care for you and their heart is in it and they have compassion, and you could not only do you hear it from them with their words, but they follow it up with their actions. And like the old saying, actions speak louder than words. And today it was the first time in a while I got to hang with Jimmy, and he got me ready and got me a bunch of stuff for my room and my house, and put batteries in my electric toothbrush. And it's just little things like that, knowing that people care about me and they're in my corner. People like Jimmy, people like you, DJ, that we're all kind of on the same team, and we do things together, and we don't necessarily see each other as co-workers, but we're all friends, and there's just that special bond. I know it sounds really corny, but as someone that needs help with things certain things on a daily basis every day, it does mean a lot, because life throws you curveballs. It could get tough sometimes, but to know you have plenty of people in your corner and they believe in you and believe in what you're trying to do, it means an awful lot. So that's my spark. That's why I started ramping up with therapy again. I'm trying really hard, working my way up on getting back on the walker. Just doing a lot of different things to be a better person, not only be better, but feel better as well. So that's my spark, and it's always an absolute delight to be on with you, DJ. So thank you.
Awesome, man. I love it. I told you before, I absolutely love seeing those updates. But we're due for one, man. We're due for an update on the walker. So I can't wait to see it. And I'm sure that'll start a whole nother box of tissues in the Yoakley house, watching you do great things. My spark today, and it goes to last night, watching the Z-Man play a little bit of T-ball. And, you know, I had a game I was calling over at South Range and was able to just drive the truck over to the elementary school. And man alive, that young man has grown leaps and bounds in a year. He's out there spanking the baseball. He's out there crushing it on the T-ball diamond. He's got great coaches. I'm excited for him to grow even more this year and not have to be, the guy, right? It's, as a parent, it's always good to be involved, but sometimes it's nice to let other people kind of teach and educate and let your kids grow up under their tutelage and have them have a wing around them as well. So it was awesome seeing it. I mean, the whole family was involved last night, and it was a good moment for the Yoakleys, and seeing Sarah out there with B and Z's out there and just, again, dude's as fast as a hiccup. He's as quick as a hiccup, Scotty. He's as fast as they come. He's got more athleticism in his pinky than I do in my entire body. So that bodes well for him, especially when dad's involved in sports. So hopefully he continues to love it and enjoy it and see it as an outlet and an opportunity, and we'll go from there. But it was a great night. And thanks again to every youth coach out there. I know you don't get thanked enough, but thank you so much for your service and your time, your resources, and dumping it in, your volunteerism, dumping it into the kids, not only in our area, but all around the country, because sports is such a great outlet for kids. It's why we exist. And why this exists is because I've had some great coaches in my life, starting in my T-ball days. So you never know how long that one season is going to affect a child. So if you're a coach out there and you're seeing this, understand it. This isn't, you don't sign up to coach just for one season. You sign up to be their coach for all seasons, the rest of their life. I still keep in contact with my T-ball coach, believe it or not, who led me into a life full of baseball and other sports. And I couldn't be more thankful for it. So if you're a coach out there, keep doing what you're doing. We're all proud of you, even though you don't get nearly the props that you deserve. That's going to do it for our show. Hope you had fun, Scotty. Hope you had fun. Thanks for joining us. We will do it again tomorrow. Hopefully, fingers crossed, because the countdown to Myrtle Beach is on, folks. We are going to be out of action, certainly on, I believe, Friday. But we will maybe we might have a show on Friday, but we're going to do it as much as we can. We're going to get lots of interviews down there, lots of games, but it's also going to be a little bit of a break for this crew over here with the Yoakleys. So God bless you, Scotty. We love you each and every day. We pray for you to accomplish your ambitions, and thank you for being a part of our show. Thank you for being a part of our life, my friend.
Thank you, DJ, and until next time, enjoy Myrtle Beach, man.
Send us home, man.
Get a good suntan going.
It ain't gonna be hard with this dome. Send us home, buddy.
All right, we're out of here. See you next time, folks.
Ysn thanks you for watching this presentation.